This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. I am your host, covering everything sport, international, local. Hope you're having a blessed day wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or even if you prefer a visual and you're chilling at home, watching us on YouTube, live on Pulse 95 Radio. The Halftime Show is about to kick off for the next hour, so I want you to chill, listen to what we have to say, because we got some good things. And we got a guest in today, Grant Goes, who's been in the fitness industry for a minute, to say the least. And I'm going to have him on the show talking to me about certain things that have come to my mind over the time period when it comes to health and fitness. Not just on the physical, not just on the nutritional part, but also on the emotional and also on the mental fitness. So we're going to be talking about that with the current pandemic obviously hitting the world. The question of the day is, is the world now becoming a healthier place, or is this an illusion? 4215, it's a alot or slide into my DMs at Omar Duri on Pulse 95 Radio and let me know. Grant Goes is on the show right after some Burna Boy on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Duri on Pulse 95.
Yes, we are back. Salam and welcome to the Halftime Show with Omar Duri. Right, we've got a nice treat for you today because we're talking health and fitness for the whole show. There's a lot of people that normally say, Omar, you show a lot of love for the football, you show a lot of love for the wrestling, you show a lot of love for mixed martial arts, you show a lot of love for boxing, but give us some more health and fitness. So you know what? I'm going to give you some more health and fitness today. And I've got the man, Grant Goes. Welcome, Grant.
Hey, brother. How are you?
I'm good.
And I'm loving this. There's big smiles everywhere.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. People come in here normally and they're like, yo, man, the energy's high. The smiles are high. I also got to thank everyone who's in the background as well that makes it happen here at Pulse 95. Right now, we've got Omnia, we've got we've got Mikey, we've got Aisha, we've got Sama, we've got Gabby, we've got Kareem. I know Super Mario's in the back. I know he's in the back as well, making sure the YouTube is on live and kicking. Grant, seeing that I have you here now, man, we're going to go straight into it, okay?
Let's dive in, bro. Let's dive.
Yeah. So with everyone that's kind of more health conscious since things were taken away, restrictions were happening, you weren't allowed back in the gyms, you kind of are allowed back in the gyms, there's a bit more restriction. Is the world now becoming a healthier place, or is this an illusion?
Great question. Where'd you come up with this question?
You know what? A guy called Grant brought it up today. Tell me.
It's great because you do look at a lot of things that are happening in the world, and there's a lot of positives coming out of this COVID situation where people are becoming more active, they're becoming more mindful of their health, their eating choices become better. I mean, we did go through a lull, right? We went through this lull where everyone just kind of relaxed, kicked back, had a few comfort foods, enjoyed their time away from activity, they were stuck in their homes. And then, it seems, and that's why the question comes out, it seems like more people are being active. It seems like more people are going to the gyms. But then there's also the other side of it, that gyms facilities are restricted of how many people they can actually have in them. So they're saying, yes, we're full, we're busy, we're packed, but there's not actually as many people in the facility.
So is that part of the illusion?
That's what I think. That's what I'm wondering, I've thrown it out there. We saw a few weeks ago that everyone was running outside. They were being active in the tennis courts, or they were being active in the pools and stuff like that. And to be honest, everyone's going yes, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to get healthy. But now, I don't see as many people there. I think it might have been a quick freedom, I'm out of here. And then all of a sudden, maybe it's gone back to normality.
Even though the weather's better now.
Here in the UAE, yes, 100%. It's getting better. It's nice. Actually, this morning I felt cold.
Yes.
I was like, I had that first chill, which I enjoy. But yeah, even when the weather, for me anyway, maybe it's just where I am. I live out in Town Square, which is a nice open space. People get active and stuff like that. But I just think, I just feel like that maybe it was more of a quick freedom, and then everyone kind of went back into their own ways. And sometimes I kind of see that with the numbers at the moment, because people are a bit more relaxed a little bit. Wear your mask. That's a simple message put out there, but and that's why I feel there's an illusion at the moment that people are talking about it, but how active are we actually being?
And what have we resorted to following being restricted? I mean, one of the things that obviously, like you said, when people said you're not allowed out, people were going out running. When people said that, you can't go into gyms, people wanted to get back into gyms. This way that the universe has kind of served us this thing has been more of a mind a mind hack where people are thinking when we normally tell children you're not allowed to do this, or you're not allowed to have sweets, or you're not allowed to have sugar, the first thing they want to do is have sugar.
Totally.
The whole world has been now put in a way where you're not allowed, to go to gyms at one point, or you're not allowed to be in big groups, for example.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you start to appreciate energy and vibes and all these kind of things. How do you think that this is kind of flowing? Is it going to continue like this? Or once people say, hopefully when everything gets back to normal, once people say, you know what, you're allowed back in now, will that number now start to decrease?
Whoa. Will that number start to decrease? It's kind of funny. Like, the first thing you go back to is that you say normal. What is normal?
Very good question.
Everyone talks about it, right? They say it's going to go back to normal. But what is normal going forward? Because there's still the fear out there. People are still questioning how safe it is to go into a facility, or how safe it is to go to even your outdoor sports training sessions. That's been allowed back in, which is fantastic. And it's good to see people training again for their rugby, their netball, their cricket, outdoor sports. But, on the other side of it, I still see this fear, so that the normal won't be. I mean, let me throw it back on you. About, like, with your training since COVID. What's happened for you? Are you training as often? Are you going back into the gym?
Right. Well, that's a very good question, man. No, I'll tell you. To be honest, for me, it was all because I hold myself accountable based on my results, and my results come from like my heart rate monitor. So what it's telling me every month, how much I'm putting in, whether it's outdoor, indoor, whether it's training on the bag. Shout out to my RBO crew if it's boxing, or if it's even something where I'm playing football, which I haven't played since February, I think it was. I only got back last week. So in doing so, obviously with the restrictions, we weren't allowed out anyway. So I had a calf strain, which then put me back. But then at the same time, I was thinking, well, how do I change that? So for the first month, the runs to the kitchen to be able to go to the fridge didn't count as interval training for me. So I had to...
You had to lock the door, did you?
Yes. The light stopped going on. The light stopped going on in the kitchen. When you open the fridge, the light just went off because I kept opening the door.
You wore it out.
Exactly. So, but now, obviously, I set my whole schedule around my training. Okay. The only days I leave free is for recovery if I feel I will need it, or if I need something active recovery-wise, or being in water or pool or something like that to just help me get through it. But I think my issue was getting over the injury and not using that as an excuse to fall short.
Totally, yeah.
But having also a good crowd around you. Like, we've got Ish here, we've got Terry, we've got Lulu, we've got Mustafa, we got Kareen. Who am I forgetting? We've got Marvish. Happy birthday, Marvish, by the way, if you're tuned in.
Birthday.
As well. All these people are around me, surrounding me normally, help me to kind of keep that as a reoccurrence where we're there, we're on the bag, we're working. And if it's not boxing, then we'll do something else, just to stay active. And that's been like the hardest challenge, really.
Well, that's what I think we're going back to, that illusion of being active. I think a lot of people have gone through that situation where they're like, break free, I'm going to start getting active. It's kind of like their New Year's resolution.
Right.
People are like, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to get healthy. 1 week, 2 weeks later, that's it. It's all over, they've dusted their hands. And I think that kind of happened with after lockdown, everyone went out, did their bit, maybe got an injury, maybe went too hard too soon. Yeah. And now they're in a situation where they're just like, I'm healthy, but I'm not really as active as I was.
Right,
and that's where I think that illusion comes from.
Brilliant. You put a keyword there, and if you want to hear what that keyword is, stay tuned for more on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. We got to give a couple of cheeky shout-outs for everyone who is tuned in on the Instagram Live at Omar Adori and Pulse 95 Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in. I was just telling Grant, without you guys, man, this place would be quite a boring place. So I'm going to give you those shout-outs now. Everyone's got the thumbs up. Mike Cornell, Terry, who else we got? Muhammad, we've got Fahima, we've got Ish, we've got Albina, we have AJ, we have Spicy, we have Fatima, we have Derek, and we have Ishmael as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, Derek, I'm thinking about Derek in London. Grant, who's also one of my close friends.
You call me Derek.
Yeah. So Derek, so Grant said something before the break, if you were tuned in. He said New Year's resolution. It actually, the light bulb went off. This is probably the most accurate New Year's resolution we've actually stuck to due to the pandemic.
Mate, I have to say, like, from personal experience, absolutely. Like, I'll do the same as everybody else. I'll be like, yeah, New Year's resolution, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people that 5 days later go, you know what, I enjoy life. I'm just going to do what I can, what I want. But this time, and I have to be honest, I have put on more weight than I've ever put on before. I was the heaviest I ever was. Got out of lockdown, took about another month, and then in the last 2 months or 3 months, I've actually gone, okay, you know what? I'm going to make a resolution, make changes, and I've stuck to it 100%. So it's definitely one of those, I suppose, emotional moments. It's like, you got to make a change in your life, and made a change. So that's personally.
I think Spicy's just said it himself. Hassan, who's tuning on Instagram, he said reset with 2 fire emojis. Yes. Excellent, Spicy.
You should be putting 5 dominoes.
There you go. See, now we're talking. But you know, actually, Grant, it's interesting you say that. One of the things that has come up, obviously, in this time is people are a lot more aware and a lot more understanding when it comes to things like anxiety and mental fitness and emotional fitness. How have you personally overcome this pandemic?
I think I'd like to start with that by saying I probably haven't. Like, everyone has, and I think this is very just normal for everyone, that, you know, they go through moments, and it's not about I'm consistently out. You're always going to have stress in your day. You're always going to be anxious or have anxiety at some point, to some level. You know, you might not be deep in one of those feelings, but you're definitely going to experience it. And I still go through moments and days where it still feels tough. I mean, I felt the financial hit from with work and stuff like that, you know, like everybody else out there. And as much as positive as I can be or am, you know, I'll still have those moments where I'm just like, oh, get pulled down a little bit. Got to wake up and then pull myself out of it. So I think dealing with it, for most people, is when it comes to variety in their lives. Like, distraction is probably one of the best ways to look at that, to avoid stress, because as soon as we start thinking about a certain topic that puts us in this state of anxiety or the state of stress, the more we start to think about it, and the snowball rolls and rolls and rolls, and we go deeper and deeper, to kind of quote off Alice in Wonderland, going deeper down the rabbit hole, you know. So distraction allows us to stay away from those mental moments and those things that have kept us down. Like, for me, I love to think about sports. I mean, I love to think about people, and any moment I think about any sport, literally, it just pulls me into a state of, I want to get active, I want to go running, I want to go lifting, I want to go and do something, and it stops me thinking about the stresses of, whether it be financial or whether it be health-wise or anything like that.
Very nice. I like the way you've used it as a form of escapism, almost, to kind of get away from
totally.
things.
We've had talks before about it. I mean, that was kind of like the way, like, for me, I think about sports. I mean, you were talking about before how you dealt with it. What do you find was more effective for you? Like, we're all different, right?
Yes. I mean, for me, it was hard enough that I couldn't watch it. So during that period, so I couldn't play it and I couldn't watch it. But we were doing these Instagram workouts at the time just to keep people going. And actually, our boss here, Mr. Safe, was telling me, Omar, you're supposed to be this fitness guy. Why don't you do something for Pulse 95? And I said to him, what am I going to do? And he said, do a workout for us. And I thought, well, how? We're all at home. He said, do it online. And I thought, okay. And then it became a Pulse 95 workout where we did it on Instagram. We did it for free at the time. And we said, you know what? Okay, fine. But we invited everyone. And the whole point is, on Instagram, we couldn't see what people were doing. They could see what we were doing. But that kind of helped afterwards with just a few messages, people appreciating it, just saying, Omar, you know, thanks to you and Maria for hosting. You know, we'd work out, we'd sweat, we'd really go for it in the workout, do half-an-hour workouts. But I think the thing that got me through that is just knowing that other people were sharing that experience with us.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I saw some of these workouts for yourself, and that's what leads to me, for me to say, a distraction away. Like, even, like, I have to admit this, but I don't know what I do. I wasn't actively doing some of the workouts. I was still watching it, but the connection I had with you guys doing it, for me, I felt a little more proud. I was like, yeah, there goes the bro. My wife doing their thing, you know? But this connection with you guys, even though I wasn't physically doing anything, I wasn't thinking about the other issues that were happening in my life at the time, you know. So
absolutely. And that's cool. Really important. And okay, guys, so what I want from you guys is text me on 4215 at Salat Odu. Let me know how you overcame that anxiety, that emotional fitness, that mental fitness, maybe even a block. Shout out to Mental Unblock, who just tuned in and said he loves it, which is great timing. And shout out to Albina and Spicy and everyone else who's tuned in. How did you guys get through it? And I say get through it. I know people are still going through it, but I like to see the positives out of it. And like Grant said, we go through it every day. Things trigger off. And speaking of trigger off, we're going to be talking about that right after the break. I'm going to play some Beyonce because I'm in that kind of mood. Enjoy this and we'll be right back.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar and Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the halftime show with Omar Duri. Wow. 2 segments in already. People are going crazy on the Instagram live at Omar Duri, and we have some wicked topics. We spoke about, is the world a healthier place or is it all an illusion? We spoke about New Year's resolution. I'm rhyming. I had to think about that. We spoke about New Year's resolution and whether this is probably the most consistent resolution we've had to date with a pandemic. That was really good as well. And we're going to jump in now with Grant Goes as well. And we're going to talk about, is the hardest part of staying healthy recovery? What's your thoughts, Grant?
It's one of those topics that people are talking about all the time now. I mean, there's so many. I've seen sleep summits. You know, people talking about how important sleep is for your recovery. There's a lot more talks on different supplementations you should be taking, whether it be natural foods, organic foods, whether it be supplements themselves to help improve your recovery. And there's been a massive surge, I suppose you'd say, in trying to develop education to provide to people in different manners out into the world, which is, I think, is a sign that people maybe don't understand recovery and need to understand how important it really is. Because, I mean, you look at all the marketing, it was no pain, no gain.
Right.
That was the whole thing that went on before for many, many years. It's through the olden days to these days. But now everyone's trying to be, well, not trying to be, rightfully so. They're being a bit more scientific and methodical behind what they're doing to get results.
More research.
Far more research. I mean, there's so many. I mean, you look at how many people are doing YouTube channels. And offering their advice as far as fitness and health. And when you look at recovery is a big part of that, you know. And so many people, even I know trainers, even some educators to some point, that don't know a lot about recovery and don't know what do you call spread the word of love about how good recovery is and how important it really is. Like,
is there a shame in the new generation to not know things?
I think it is. I think it's mostly with males.
Really,
I think with males just have this kind of ego that's like, you know, I'm right. I'm doing my big weights. I know how I'm doing it. Works for me, and I find that probably a little bit closed out where. I do, and I think that's how I see it, and maybe I'm wrong, but you know, in my opinion, what I'm seeing is a lot more females, a lot more open to learning and discovering, and you see a lot more female presenters, lecturers talking on recovery. In fact, every kind of person I've talked with on different topics has mostly been females talking about recoveries, where guys talk about performance a lot more.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's definitely a big one.
Is it not cool to still be a student?
I personally think it is.
Yeah.
In saying that, when I say that, like, to be honest, I haven't done a course in quite some. I don't know when was the last time you did a course in physical education.
Probably
PT.
Probably 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Okay, so you're the exception of the rule, my mate. I feel just ashamed all of a sudden.
No, but you know what it is? It's almost like, and correct me if I'm wrong. By the way, Grant has been in this just as long as me, if not longer. So I have a lot of respect in his opinion. It's almost like a discredit. I don't want you to put Grant's hat on. I want you to put a client's hat on. Why does it seem like it's a discredit to be a student in the game now?
I would go back to society and the message that is sent out there. In fact, it's funny. I've been talking to a couple of people over the last few days about there's a lot of people, more people out there body shaming other people because of the way they look. It's like, you have to have the abs, the six pack, which, you know, everyone's trying to promote themselves with. As a trainer, you know, they're trying to promote themselves, and the clients now have this, I have to say, unrealistic view sometimes, because they've been shown the highlight reel,
right? You
know, and if they're not in that highlight reel, then they're not the cool kid. You know, at school, you don't want to be the cool kid. You want to be up in front. And I think that same thing has been portrayed onto a lot of people coming into their training, into their fitness. You know, they should be the fastest runner or the most athletic. I think there is slow change, which is great, and there's more initiatives out there to help. And actually, I want to say this one is that the most important people to enhance or to improve their fitness are the ones getting into fitness. Not the ones that do it themselves, not the ones that go and be active. I mean, we're very active, you know. We do, but we don't really need the motivation as much, right? There's other people that want to get into this industry, or they want to get into this space, this fitness enthusiast space, and they've been told, oh, you know, you've got to be really lean, or or you've got to be super fit or super strong, so lift the heaviest, run the fastest, or lose the most amount of fat, and that's where this whole, I think, maybe shame is coming from.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're gonna get back to that. People are asking if you're an Aussie or a Kiwi. I can confirm he's a Kiwi. We'll get
Not South African?
Yeah, no, we'll get back to that straight after the Adan.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. We've got a lot going on behind the scenes here. We had a couple of requests. We've got cookie wars happening in the background between Umniya and Aisha Al-Mazmi, discussing whether Umniya's cookies are healthy enough and whether you should be doing a healthy version of cookies in the first place. But I think everyone on the Instagram agrees that we are with Umniya. She's definitely one that we support all the way. We've had a few questions about Grant. Is he Kiwi or Aussie? And then we obviously answered that. But can he do the haka? We're probably going to try and get him to do it live here on YouTube if you're tuned in on Pulse 95 Radio, or even on the Instagram at Omar Al-Duri. Grant, there's a big request and a demand for the haka. How does one
How do you start by answering that one?
the haka?
It's actually fine because obviously being a Kiwi and playing rugby, everyone, it doesn't matter where you go, everyone always, the first thing you say, if you say New Zealander, the first question comes out, can you do the haka? And the second question is, do it now. Do it. It's not really a question, actually. It's just
a statement.
Totally. It's always more impressive, obviously, when you got a group of guys and women standing there doing the haka. When it's by themselves, it's not quite as powerful, impactful as well. So
yeah,
we're going to get a few friends out there. We'll put one together and we'll do it for them.
We're going to try and get him to do it for you guys, for sure. And even if you can teach me, maybe I'll try and attempt to keep up with the big man himself. Okay, we had a few people dropping in some questions. Florin has dropped in a question, and Terry, it's the most amazing thing to see the All Blacks doing it. That's what Terry said. And then Murad Mohammed Al-Blushi, do it now.
See what I mean?
That's exactly it.
But it's right. I mean, and it's one of those things that I think the number one thing is if you learn and understand what it means first.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks impressive without having to understand the meaning, but once you understand the meanings behind each haka, because each haka is different.
Yes.
People see the All Blacks and they think, that's the haka. No, haka is a war dance.
Yes.
And different tribes throughout New Zealand have their own hakas and their own schools, and their own tribes have their own hakas as well. So when people say haka, they go All Blacks straight away.
Right. Oh, brilliant. Okay, there's a couple of things. Florin, how to stay motivated. Become a student of discipline and recovery, but more importantly, listen to your body, and it's always talking and telling you what it's needed. Very good, Florin. Love that.
100%.
If you guys are just tuning in, we spoke about that earlier on the show. Recovery, we also spoke about, and Florin also said recovery is probably more important than training itself. I train every day and I was not getting faster. I took 2 weeks off, rested, slept, floated in the pool, and now the same 8-mile run that took an hour 22 minutes is now taking 1 hour 12. Brilliant, Flo. Love that.
That's what people got to realize, like how important recovery is.
Absolutely. Well, so that's it, Florin. You see, now you're putting everything to practice, and Florin's saying that I read your book again, and because I read your book again, it allowed me to have an open mind and a clearer mind on how to perform. Fantastic, brilliant, love that. Even makes the Springboks tremble. The haka, I'm guessing.
They're big boys too. They are very big boys.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I also have to give a special happy birthday to one of our avid listeners. I know it was yesterday, but I didn't have a show yesterday. Marvish, happy birthday! You deserve all the best. Marvish has been someone that's come on the show and also expressed her health and fitness journey, and we are so proud of you. Everyone at RBO is super proud of you, Marvish, for not just tackling your own goals, but also the stereotype of women not competing, the stereotype of, women shouldn't be in gyms. Fantastic, Marvish. Happy birthday from everyone here at Pulse 95 Radio and Grant Goes himself. And we are reaching full time. It's crazy. Whenever I bring him on the show, man, it just flies by. Takes longer to get here.
Literally.
We got one more question here before we wrap up. P.S. My favorite part of facing the haka was having the team clap us off the team after we beat them at MERS 0703. Okay.
She's talking about international.
I think Florin is talking about that. Yeah. Florin is a bit of a wind-up as well, though, aren't you, Florin? No,
Does the United
actually,
States have a rugby team?
what's that? No, Florin is Nigerian.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Does Nigeria have a rugby team? That's a good question.
That's another good question.
That's a very good question. Florin, if they don't, I'm sure you and your brother can wrap up a few of the brothers and actually can do a great team. You know, that would be wicked. We have reached full time. Grant, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Absolute pleasure.
Lovely having you here. Time always flies when Grant's in the building. Remember, guys, you can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 3 to 4 on the Halftime Show. We also have our shows that get uploaded on YouTube. So head over to Pulse 95 Radio, subscribe, like it, share it if you feel the content is good enough, and also keep tuning in because we love having you on the Instagram Live at Omar Duri, and we'll be back very, very soon. Same time, Saturday, on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95. Peace, guys.
The heart of Sharjah.
This is Pulse 95.
Heart of Sharjah.